otherwise.
Well, the English are at the radical edge, if you will, and they are marked as such. I mean, the French see the English as being crazy. They don't have the distinctions that we have, and so on. And the English took great pride, as Hogarth prints and so show in John Bull and his beer and beef eating. We're a real people, and we believe in equality. They would actually talk about they were more equal to each other than the French were. And so Americans are kind of extreme Englishmen, which is what Burke pointed out. We are so libertarian that we snuff tyranny in every breeze. And with the descent of dissidents, I mean, we just were so radical compared to the English. But the English are already radical. And George III says liberty is at the basis of our Constitution. I mean, so the English celebrate liberty first, before we do, so to speak. We are the heirs of that liberal English tradition.
So who else existed at the time for us to
Well,
get a
France,
sense of the context?
Russia. The Germans are no state yet, just a bunch of principalities. And the same is true of Italy. But France is the other dominant power. And France is a Catholic power, strong, centralized, a monarchy. Russia, of course, is way off in the east, is a monarchy. There are no, I mean, there are a few little republics. There's the Dutch, who are kind of a half republic. And then you have Venice, a little city, a republic, but there's nothing like what's going to be created or is being created in 1776, the United States. Even one of the states like Pennsylvania is a huge block of territory. And the idea that you could have 13 of them, that just kind of boggles the mind. There's nothing like that in Europe at the time. You have to go back to Rome. And they often refer to Rome. And of course, that's an object lesson. We don't want to do it. Rome finally fell, so we don't want to get into that problem.
And it's a sidebar. But
there's a lot of talk about republics and how can they sustain, because a republic is a fragile kind of polity, because it's dependent on the people from below. I mean, we have that same issue today. We talk about autocracy, which is power from the top down, much more stable. And you can have a large territory. They assume that you could only govern a large territory with an autocracy. And some people might say, well, that's understandable. Look at Russia. It's such a huge landmass. How else could you govern it except through an autocracy? The idea of a republic, which comes from the bottom up, very fragile, very likely to fall apart. So you've got to worry about that. And then the Americans, of course, did.